As a reminder, we'll be getting going right at the final buzzer here. It's about midnight Eastern time. Showing a minute 22 left on the clock. Indiana's dug into this lead, but I don't think that they're going to be able to escape this one. Well, we'll go live right at the final buzzer. Well, we'll go live right at the final buzzer. It's consistently amazing to me how every single game there are so many calls that are just so very, very close that it's just tough to make the call even when you're looking at it on the replay. It happens in football too, but it's just incredible to me. And we'll go live right after the final buzzer. I think that that tip was off of Tucker there. How you doing, everybody? I'm Ken Bykoff, and welcome to the Peegs Postgame Live. Indiana 81-75 losers at USC as 12:15 in the morning here Eastern time. In the Hoosiers fall in this one to 15-8 overall, 6-6 in the Big Ten. Host Wisconsin on Saturday, and I think the important thing to remember about tonight's game is that, just a couple of weeks ago, Indiana football won a national championship, and boy, was that fun. That was a ton of fun. You enjoyed the hell out of that. I know you did. 812-393-2600 is the number. Another frustrating evening of Hoosier basketball. We've had a lot of those along the way. A wasted quality night from Lamar Wilkerson, who finishes with 33 points on 11 of 20 shooting, 5 of 12 from three-point range. But he's the only one that really showed up. He's the only one that brought any kind of heat to the floor. The rest of your starters, Sam Alexis, 8 points. Connor Enright, 3 points. Nick Dorn, 6 points. And Nick Dorn's been on a heater. 2 of 12. Came back to earth in this one. Tucker DeVries, 5 points on 1 of 9 shooting, including 1 of 8 from three-point range. And those are your starters. Outside of Wilkerson, nobody else scored more than 8 points, and that was Sam Alexis, who also fouled out in 21 minutes. This is it's not a great. Earlier in the season, I was impressed with what I saw in terms of how this team played basketball. It was so different than what we had seen under Mike Woodson with the cutting and the passing and the sets that were being run that were designed to lead to shots. Somewhere along the way, this team has lost the plot. I get it's a three-point shooting team. I absolutely get it. I get that's what they're shooting for. I also know this team does not value possessions in any way, shape, or form. Does not value anything about taking care of the basketball. Doesn't value playing defense. Sure as hell doesn't value rebounding. Indiana out-rebounded on the night, 40-25. The Hoosiers with just 10 turnovers. And I believe Indiana, look, they just lost the game, so we know who is the better team tonight. It was USC. I think overall Indiana is a better team. They had a ton of opportunities to win this ball game, despite the fact they weren't shooting very well. They weren't playing very well. They had opportunities. But Indiana just far too often was one and done on possessions. Indiana with just 8 offensive rebounds on the game. And just simply didn't do enough. Didn't play nearly enough defense against a USC team. Playing at home, sure. But 6 of 17 from three-point range, that's okay. But most of this was going to the bucket. Most of this was going to the bucket. They finished with 28 points in the paint, which I might add, it's the same amount that Indiana has, but it was also 17 fast break points given up. You gave up 12 points off of turnovers. Just a frustrating night. Just a frustrating night because Lamar Wilkerson showed up to play, did just that, and was really good. But it's got to be more than him. And late in the game, you had Tayton Connerway, who was finally back in the lineup. 10 points, 10 minutes, 7 points on 3 of 6 shooting. He tries to force things. Played a little hero ball. Indiana gave up 46 points in the second half. Now, they scored 45. That's kind of not the point. You got to stop somebody. You can't let a USC team that is not great be able to just go to the bucket whenever they want to. It's that simple. Indiana shoots 35 threes on the night, makes 10 of them. 35 is a lot of threes. There were not 35 open threes. There were not 35 instances in which a three-pointer was the best shot, or the shot that was taken was the best shot that could be taken. And that is frustrating to watch. I give them credit for battling. They were down by as many as 14 in the second half on the road. They continued to bounce back. That's great. They did that against UCLA as well. That, to me, isn't the issue here. The issue is that the Hoosiers simply are too inconsistent, too scattered with the ball, and don't play enough defense to win games like this, especially when the threes aren't falling. That is frustrating, to say the least. Hopefully, we'll be able to get some video of Darren DeVries here in just a little bit. 812-393-2600 is the number. Give us a call. Throw something on the chat. We'll appreciate that. Want to hear from you. And look, Indiana splits these two games on the West Coast. Considering that they had, just a couple weeks ago, they were riding a 4-game losing streak, really looked rough. It's great that they came back and they beat UCLA on the heels of that win over Purdue. They have back-to-back home games coming up against Wisconsin and Oregon, so the season isn't over by any stretch. But you also don't know what team you're going to get. Is it going to be that hard-cutting team that really works for open shots that we saw earlier in the year, that we saw against Purdue, that we saw at times against USC, or are they just not going to show up like UCLA and decide we're just going to fire up a bunch of threes? I know that's the style. It's bad basketball. You have to value some of these possessions. You have to. Because you're playing tight games. You're not getting blown out, and that's a positive. Last year, Indiana was getting its ass kicked and playing bad basketball. This year, imagine this team, last year's team, with Lamar Wilkerson on it. Somebody who could create shots, somebody who could knock down threes like that. It'd be a whole different ballgame. This season, Indiana is lacking that guy who can consistently create off the dribble, and size inside. These are not new issues. It's just how Indiana manages them from game to game that is the real question. 812-393-2600 is that number. It is late. I understand that. So we may not have a whole lot of callers here for this one. And I understand that. I knew that when we saw the schedule. I am so thrilled this game is in our past that I cannot tell you. The latest game that we have now on the schedule going forward is an 8:30 tip-off against Oregon next Monday. Hate that a lot, but, what are you going to do? It's not 10 o'clock. So let's talk about these individual performances. Lamar Wilkerson, 33 points on 11 of 20 shooting. When he gets rolling, man, it is fun to watch. It really is. 5 of 12 from three-point range, 6 of 6 from the free throw line, finishes with 4 rebounds and an assist, also had 3 steals in 32 minutes. Sam Alexis, 8 points on 4 of 4 shooting. He did not get to the free throw line, only had 2 rebounds on the night, which is pathetic for one of Indiana's key bigs. Fouls out of the game, but he did dish out 4 assists. I give him credit for that. You can't foul out in 21 minutes, though. You got to move your feet, and that's where that lack of quickness, that lack of speed really comes in. That's where it shows up, because one thing that USC does have is good athleticism and quickness, and that's why Indiana was running into problems when it came to guarding them. USC shot 31 free throws in the game. 31. Indiana shot 16. So it's almost a 2-to-1 split on free throws, and those fouls were coming because Indiana isn't as athletic or quick as some of their opponents, and this is one of them. Connor Enright, 3 points on 1 of 3 shooting. He had 2 rebounds, 8 assists versus 1 turnover. That's fantastic in 34 minutes. Nick Dorn, who's been hot, can't fake the funk on what he's been doing. This was a bad one. This is a bad one. 6 points on 2 of 12 shooting. All 12 of the shots were from 3-point range. Now, you can see that shots aren't going. And I understand that you're a 3-point shooter. That's something that is what you're doing. But at some point, you need to go to the bucket to try to see something go in. And he's played enough basketball in his career. He should know that by now. But that's not what he did. He decided he was just going to keep shooting. And that's fine. That is absolutely fine to want to shoot your way out of a slump. But go to the rim a little bit. Shorten it up. See one go through the bucket and then come back out. That's part of that adjustment you have to make in game. He finishes with 2 rebounds and an assist, fouls out in 36 minutes, was -9 on the night, gave Indiana basically nothing. And that's frustrating. Tucker DeVries, 5 points and 1 of 9 shooting, 1 of 8 from 3-point range. He added 6 rebounds and 5 assists to go along with 3 steals, had 2 turnovers, but only 1 foul. So DeVries, at the very least, was helping his team in other ways. Even as this shooting issue, that it's not a slump anymore. This is just Tucker DeVries for the year. This is where he's at. And it's a shame because, you expected him to come in a 2,000-point scorer, somebody who's going to be able to put some points up on the board. And it's just not happening for him. It's just not happening, especially from distance, which is supposed to be his strong suit. He is now shooting, he was 33.7% coming into the year. They haven't updated the stats just yet, which I understand. But there's just too many nights of 2 of 9s and 3 of 10s and 2 of 8s and 3 of 7s, things like that. And the Hoosiers are paying for it. Those are your starters there. Off the bench, led by Reed Bailey, 8 points on 2 of 6 shooting, 4 or 5 from the free throw line. He did not get a rebound, which means Indiana's 2 bigs combined to play 39 minutes between the 2 of them and grab 2 rebounds. How do you go 18 minutes in a game as a big and not get a single rebound? Weirdly, he was +6 on the night. Peyton Conaway returns to the lineup, but again, he was shot hunting a little bit at times, trying to make an impact. And it's, again, frustrating. Trent Sisley, 3 points on 1 of 2 shooting. Both of those shots came from 3-point range. He added 2 rebounds in 7 minutes. He was +2. Indiana shoots 41.3% from the field overall, just 28.6% from 3-point range. But they do go 13 of 16 from the free throw line. The issue, of course, is that you only had the 16 free throws, and when your opponent is knocking down 31 of them, or attempts 31 and makes 25 of them, that puts you at a real disadvantage. So 13 free throws made for Indiana, 25 free throws made for USC. Journalism major at IU, but that's 12, and you lose by 6 on the road. That's a frustrating issue. Indiana gets 20 points off the bench versus just 6 from USC. They got USC, the Trojans got the bulk of their production from Elijah Arenas, 29 points. 9 of 23 shooting. He was able to go to the basket and use his speed and agility and quickness and athleticism, all of that, to be able to do whatever he wanted to and break down Indiana's defense. And the question is, look, this program can get it together for a game. It's that consistency that is an issue, and especially when it comes to matchups, it's an issue. USC had a lot of athletic basketball, and athletes playing basketball, their quickness, speed, all of that really is a negative for the Hoosiers. And when you have guys like that, Indiana struggled against them all season long. Purdue isn't blessed with that same kind of thing. So Indiana did a better job against them. UCLA has some, but Indiana was able to cover it up by making shots and just being better defensively than they were tonight. And so what we're left with is the question of where does Indiana go from here? You can't chalk this game up to fatigue. They didn't give up 81 points, including 46 in the second half because they were tired. Because they scored 45 in the second half. They weren't tired. They weren't jet lagged. They've been on the West Coast for several days now. Yeah, they went to double overtime against UCLA Saturday night, but that was Saturday night. They played an extra 10 minutes of basketball. I will not forever chalk it up to that. And then you throw in the fact that they're, 23 and younger, and remember the energy that you had back then. I won't give them a pass on the double overtime thing because they had time to recover from that. There is, you look at this team, are they an NCAA tournament team? Yeah, I think that they've won enough games to put themselves in that mix. They have opportunities to pick up more wins that will get them firmly where they need to go. Starting with Wisconsin, starting with Oregon, these two back-to-back home games are obviously going to be pretty critical. But you have to be ready to play. You have to be ready to lock down on defense and hang your hat on something. And it can't just be knocking down threes. Oregon is not good. They are 1-10 in the Big Ten right now as we speak. 8-14 overall. You should be able to pick up a win there. Wisconsin is 16-6 out overall, 8-3. That's a tough game, but it's at home. So you're going to have that opportunity. Then you get back into the meat grinder. Illinois, Purdue, at their place, after hanging a loss on them already. Northwestern is not good, so there's an opportunity there too. Michigan State and Bloomington. Minnesota, you got some payback coming that way. Ohio State is mid-range, just like Indiana. So what you have left on the on all of this is just a number of opportunities that could put you on the bubble and squeak you in. But I struggle to see how this team makes any kind of run if they do make it. We have a caller. Caller, if I can have your name, where you're from, and what you got, and thank you so much for joining us.
Hey, it's James from Corydon. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. James, how you doing?
Great, man. So, not too mad about the game and everything. I think this team really plays pretty hard. A lot more than I can say from some of our previous teams that we had, but I'm just glad to get off the West Coast after these last two games. Officiating really left a lot out there, don't you think?
Well, it's Big Ten officials on the road. I mean, it is what it is. Hell, they're not that good at Assembly Hall. So I didn't think it was particularly bad compared to what we've seen at other times this year. And so going on the road, this is how it is. I also think that Indiana got called for a lot of fouls because they weren't quick enough or athletic enough to stay in front of people.
Yeah, as we've seen all year, the rebounding really
for sure
came back to bite us. I mean, so many opportunities where a lot of the USC points were just garbage putbacks from broken missed rebounds and whatnot. What do you think about Tucker? He didn't really bring a lot tonight from a point standpoint. He's really been off shooting, I would say probably the last 5 to 10 games. do you think he's playing injured? Do you think it's a conditioning thing? It's been spoken of a lot on the boards and stuff, but a lot of people are kind of thinking he's playing a little overweight and maybe a nagging injury there. You think so?
Well, the key with Tucker is, yeah, he hasn't been shooting the ball well, and he didn't shoot it well tonight. But as I was talking earlier, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. He had 3 steals. He was doing other things outside of scoring. And yeah, you need that score. There's no question about that. So at the very least, if he's injured, he's still managing to make an impact in other places that have nothing to do with the ball going through the hoop. So I just, as we've seen all season, he just has not had any kind of consistency with his shot. So maybe, he's banged up, but as far as I'm concerned, if you're banged up, it would impact everything you do, not just the one area.
Yeah, but the area that we need him the most is probably in the scoring column.
For sure. Although, hell, with you need him on the glass, too.
Yeah. I think this will probably be DeVries' worst team that he's ever going to put out on the court. I think there's a lot for the future. I really like the perspective of what he's got coming in, and I like the way his teams fight. We played to the final whistle. This team never gives up. So a lot to like with DeVries. He really won me over in that UCLA game.
I give him a lot of credit because the team does fight, and when you should have a sense of urgency with a team this old, because for a lot of them this is the last go around. I do think that for as much as I'm not wild about the style of just putting up threes and not valuing possessions, I think that's going to be very attractive to prospective potential recruits and transfers and things like that. The freedom to play in that kind of system, I think, is going to be really attractive. So I'm not turning on DeVries on Darren DeVries at all at this point, because it is his first team and there has to be some patience. You just wish there was a little more consistency.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate it, Ken. Late night, got to go to work in about 7 hours. So it's great hearing from you. Thanks for taking my call.
Thanks so much for calling. I appreciate it.
Yep.
812-393-2600 is the number. Got another caller? Caller, if you have your name, where you're from, and what you got.
Hi, Ken. It's Peter from California.
Hi, Peter. How you doing? See, it's not so late where you are.
Well, it's not that bad. And I too didn't have a ton of expectations tonight with that double OT game. I was proud of the guys for trying at the end to make it close. You could tell that even with this nice weather, we have a batch of just incredible weather right now. I can only imagine they enjoyed their time after that win, but they looked gassed. And without Wilkerson, it was slim pickings.
Well, yeah, but I will go back to, they played the double overtime game a couple of days ago. They're 22 years old. That extra 10 minutes of basketball shouldn't add up that quickly as far as I'm concerned, especially because, it's a thing all throughout the game. I won't let them off the hook for that, basically.
I like it. I hold them accountable. You're right. They're 22. They should be able to overcome that. And you're absolutely right. And it's funny because I'm sure you've heard some of those sound bites from UCLA coach about the scheduling and the traveling that they have to do.
Right.
So it's and there is some validity in his arguments. He is in the league though. What are you going to do? But it goes both ways. And all we were asked to do is to have 2 games in a couple days. And we wouldn't have been in that situation had they been able to hold on at the end of that UCLA game, which was frustrating to see that collapse. And it was heartening to see them stick with it. And teams in the past would not have been able to find that win after they gave up that lead like that, in the recent past. But so overall, I do like what I'm seeing out of this team and the parts that it has, where it's not strictly just jacking up trees all the time. There seems to be a little bit more ball movement. Alexis has been playing a lot better. I just think that the team is the cohesion is better. Obviously, they've had some big wins and the momentum, but I do think that they're playing at least a little bit more of a team oriented basketball. These last handful of games.
Well, this whole season for all these, for the vast majority of these guys, should have a sense of urgency again because it's their last go around for so many of these guys. This is their last opportunity to go to the NCAA tournament. I guarantee it's the first time any of these guys have felt the level of passion from fans and like that energy in Assembly Hall. It's the first time they've ever felt that kind of thing. They fed off of it with Purdue, and I think that they're going to get that same energy when they come back against Wisconsin this Saturday. It's just you have to be able to bring the same level for 40 minutes every single game, and that's where this team has been lacking.
Absolutely, yeah. It seems like I think of that Nebraska game where they're just playing out of their mind, and I know the football at that point, I believe football was still taking the lion's share of attention, obviously, but they can't have that lull, and they have to play with an urgency. And you're absolutely right. I mean, I don't know exactly what's going on with DeVries. Maybe it's just the league, the style of play. He seems like he just doesn't seem at times like he fits. He seems like, and I know he's a hustle guy. There's a lot of intangibles that he does, but it just seems that it seems like it's more than just a slump. And I don't know enough about his game to know what it is, but it might just be the meshing of the team. But that's all I have. I just want to give you a call and say hello.
Well, I really appreciate the call. Thank you so much. And hopefully Indiana will be able to bounce back this weekend.
All right. Take care, Ken.
Take care. 812-393-2600 is the number. Just a huge shout out to all of you guys that are sticking in and catching this show here for just a few minutes tonight as we continue to kind of break this down. Throw in a question in the chat if you don't want to pick up your phone. That's perfectly fine. Trojan Fight on the chat says you guys shoot a lot of threes. And it has been the case all season. That's what Indiana does. Again, I understand the modern style of basketball. I get it. I know that's what we're going to get going into every game. Last year, Indiana didn't shoot enough threes. This year, I feel like they force some in a way that doesn't always help a lot. Indiana is averaging, let's see, I could pull up a calculator real quick. So 656 going into this game was the number of three-point attempts that they had on the season. Indiana had 35 attempts today. So that's 691 attempts, free throw attempts, in 23 games. That's 33 three-point attempts a game. That's a lot. And the whole point for me is that you just don't have that many open threes in a game. Make an extra pass. It's okay. You don't have to force it. How about a pump fake? Go to the rim. Get to the free throw line. To me, that was the biggest difference on this, in this one. Was Indiana's inability to keep USC off the free throw line and Indiana's inability to get to the free throw line. Some of that had to do with some shaky officiating, but you also have to sometimes force officials to make a call, and Indiana did not do a very good job of that. Waiting, hoping that we will get some video from DeVries' post-game press conference. Don't know if we will or not. Again, it's pretty late, and being able to get that sometimes can be a challenge on the road. So if we don't, sorry about that, but I can see right now that it is coming in. It is coming in, and this is it's actually not even published on the Peegs.com website yet, but it's downloading. We'll get to this in just 1 second. Plant to M01 on the chat says, we used to be able to dump it down low to at least to TJD or Bala when we were in the shooting slump to get a bucket, but now we can't even do that. We just have to shoot our way out of it or have no shot. Not having a true post player has really killed this team. I don't disagree with you. And again, it's the flip side of what we had last year, to where teams were able to just pack the paint and nobody could knock down a three. This year, you have guys who can knock down threes, but nobody that you could go to inside for an easy bucket. So you need that happy medium. And, that's the frustration of all of this, is that you don't have that. Going to go ahead and go to the Darren DeVries press conference that he held following the game. Runs about 6 minutes. So going to go ahead and bring this in. So here's Darren DeVries during his post-game press conference.
I guess obviously a number of things that happened in this game. Curious factors that led to the outcome in your mind. What was at the top in your eyes?
I thought the biggest thing was, we had talked before the game, we couldn't put them at the free throw line, and they shot 31 free throws. So, that's a big starting point. I just didn't think we had our same tenacity that we've had here in these last few games. We just seemed a little half a step slow tonight, and kept trying to battle, kept trying to get back into it. Gave a nice little run there late to give ourselves a chance, but unfortunately just couldn't come up with that one more play to get us over the top.
How much was, obviously Lamar has a great game, but Tucker, Nick, and Connor didn't really score much. I think finished 13, 14 combined points. How much of it was not getting a second guy, not getting a third guy, scoring-wise? Yeah,
I thought we had some great opportunities there. I thought Nick's been shooting it about as well as anybody in the country. He just had an off night. Tuck had some really good looks as well, and they just didn't go down. So we didn't get that second and third scorer, like we've been getting tonight. Obviously Lamar, really tried to carry us there. And then at the rim, we need to finish a little stronger so we can get to the free throw line. And, we got to do a better job of drawing those fouls.
Is there a reason you can see for why you guys were a half step slow?
No, we just didn't get it going. Again, I don't know if the heavy minutes the other night had anything to do with it, but the guys have prepared well. I thought we had a good 2 days of practice. They were really engaged and coming in the game. I thought we were ready. We just didn't quite have it tonight throughout the contest. The guys they continue to battle, trying to find ways to get it going. And a few different times they got down, came back, kept fighting, and had that one last push there at the end. Just couldn't come up with a big steal there to tie it or take it into the lead.
I believe rebounding.
The other night, just playing through things, obviously kind of shooting wise, but what have you kind of talked to him about trying to get him through this and how to find his, wasn't necessarily looking for a shot very much, we only want to make. What are you kind of trying to talk to him about trying to get through this stretch?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, like everybody, when you're a good shooter and you go through maybe something you haven't gone through before, it's just to stay confident. Trust your work. You've done it your whole life. Just continue to believe in that, and sometimes that's hard. When you are in a little bit of a slump, to continue to find it. And he's been trying to really, hey, I'm not shooting as well, trying to facilitate and doing some other things, while he's trying to work through that.
Is it different though than anything? You've seen his career pretty well. Different than any stretch you've seen from him offensively?
Yeah, just from a shooting standpoint, it's just one of those things that happens that he hasn't experienced before. He'll get it going. He's just got to stay confident with it and continue to work and believe in himself. And I know, we all do, his teammates all do. So it'll come.
I believe rebounding wise, it was like 40 to 25. What did you see on that end?
Yeah, I didn't think we were hitting as well as making as much contact as we had been. I thought we gave them some free runs at the basket. And some of it we were in some rotations where we were coming late to get to them. So again, between the free throws and the offensive rebounding, especially in the first half, second half was better. We only had 3 there in the second half, but overall it was just wasn't quite what we were looking for tonight.
It kind of looked like right before the handshake line, you were chatting with one of the refs a little bit. Was there a specific area of angst there at all, or not much?
That's normal stuff.
You guys got it down to 4 or 5 multiple times, just couldn't make that shot. Did you feel like that was the theme of the night?
Yeah, I think overall, I mean, we couldn't get that three to go, and then we couldn't follow it up with that stop. I thought there was a big stretch in there where Arenas got loose for a couple threes, a couple tough baskets. It seemed like we had some deflections and things too, where there was loose balls, and we just didn't come up with enough of them. I thought our activity was pretty good, but again, some of them just would end up in their hands, and all of a sudden they're at the rim and at the free throw line.
Taking Connor comes back, was that kind of always the plan? You felt like this second game was going to where he'd be in?
Yeah, we weren't sure if he was going to be ready yet, but the last couple of days he had pretty good progress, so he was able to practice a decent amount yesterday and then felt like he was good in warm-ups today to give it a go for some limited minutes at least. So
when he's back 100%, do you have kind of a decision to make with the starting lineup, or do you assume he's coming back? Like how have you kind of thought about that?
Yeah, we'll see where it's at when we're coming back, but right now we'll stick with what we've been doing and see how it plays out from there.
Just to make sure he played well enough tonight. He's good to go. Nothing re-aggravated or anything. He's back to playing.
I mean, we'll see after the game what it looks like and if it has any reoccurrence or anything like that.
From a team standpoint, how important are the next couple days of practices getting back on a normal schedule?
Yeah, it'll be big. I mean, we're actually staying the night tonight, so we can travel tomorrow. So we don't get to use that as a practice day or anything. It's not an off day, so it's just a travel day. So and then we'll practice on Thursday and Friday to get ready for Saturday. So our biggest thing is we got to get back, get some rest, regroup, and then get ready for the next one. And that's what this is. So been playing good basketball. Had a rough one tonight, but can't let it linger. We got to get refocused and get ready for Saturday.
Thanks, guys.
So there is Darren DeVries from his post-game press conference. I will never get over the fact that so many of these arenas, all of these arenas, just throw a coach in a hallway and wish you luck. There's people unpacking things behind. The sound quality is garbage. People are going by you like you're the problem. And I've never understood that. There was a time when they would bring guys into the interview room, give you a quiet situation. You don't have this problem at NBA games. It's ridiculous to me. But they don't ask me about it, and that's a shame because I have my thoughts about it. Obviously, Indiana 81-75 losers on the road at USC, fall to 15-8 overall, 6-6 in the Big Ten. Again, they've built a little bit of a resume here to put them in that talk about who's on the bubble. How do you make sure you stay on that bubble? How do you get off of it? A win against Illinois would be massive. Michigan State, Purdue, and Wisconsin, those 3 games are other ones that if you win those, you're fine. Then you're not sweating on Selection Sunday. You have to beat your teams at home. You have to take care of stealing some on the road. And that means Illinois. That means Purdue. A sweep of Purdue and you're in without question. We got another caller. Caller, if you have your name, where you're from, and what you got.
Hey, Ken, it's Kevin from Santa Clarita. How are you tonight?
I've been waiting for you, Kevin. How you doing?
Well, I wanted to, let the other people get in. The Indiana people can get in so they get to bed. But because it's still only 9:40 here, so we're good. We're doing good.
Yeah, it's our second call from California today, so I'm excited.
Yeah, I heard that other one. Yeah. We're supporting the Indiana, the Peegs podcast.
I so appreciate that.
Yeah, I didn't get to see much of your game. I was watching it on my phone, so because the Peacock, so that wasn't the greatest way to watch a basketball game. But at least you got to split on the road, and generally it seems to be in college basketball. You got to split on the road, you're doing all right. And looking at your future schedule, you got about 3 quad 1 games coming up. You got to get 1 or 2 of them to boost you to boost. UCLA's in the same boat. We have like 5 quad 1 games coming up, so we we got to get a couple of them to boost our standing. That's for sure.
For sure. And, again, from what we saw from UCLA, again, people who don't know, Kevin is actually a UCLA fan who has called the show routinely, and I certainly appreciate that. UCLA is kind of like Indiana in that they've been inconsistent. And they could put up points, they could score, they could make things happen, but they have some flaws that pop up from time to time, and has left them inconsistent. And so I just really I'm frustrated with that lack of consistency in terms of just running offense for Indiana. And tonight you had to me it was just too many threes without thinking about it. Instead of they weren't worried about good shots, they were worried just about getting quantity over quality, essentially.
Yeah, and then you're not going to get the foul. If you're shooting threes, you're not going to get fouled, so that exacerbates the inequality there. And UCLA was able to blow out Rutgers tonight, and we had Booker, our center, scored 24 points, had like four or five 3-pointers. We haven't seen it. It's career high. It's like, where'd this come from?
Yep.
And does this mean he's going to do more like that the rest of the season, or was this the fluke? Again, you see these guys play, and is this where they turn the corner, or does the light bulb go on, or is it just the fluke and they'll be back to the regular game later?
Well, that's what Indiana had with Nick Dorn tonight. He had a huge game on Saturday, but tonight, 2 of 12, he made all of those shots from 3. He finishes with 6 points when, the other night he put up, 20-something. And so that lack of a second and third score really hurt Indiana tonight.
Yeah, I was looking at the box scores like, wow, one guy had 33 and then the rest 5s and 6s.
Yes.
We haven't played USC yet, so I haven't really seen them play a lot. So it'll be interesting. We have them 2 times, so that's going to be 2 critical games for us, that's for sure.
Well, if you didn't catch that, their forward Chad Baker Mazzara, it looked like he went down with a knee injury that didn't look good, and so
I did saw that the bent the wrong way.
Yes,
and hopefully it's not as bad as it looks.
Yeah,
but it did bad. Yeah, nobody wants all the guys to play. Let's just play it as everybody healthy. Don't want injuries. I think we both have future games against Michigan State that could be very critical in our tournament hopes. For sure.
And Indiana has opportunities against Illinois and Purdue coming up as well. Both of those are on the road. So they're going to be a challenge. And I see somebody in our chat is saying, how are we going to beat any of those teams? And, Indiana did manage to beat Purdue in Bloomington, so they can beat them. The others, again, it's going to have to be a team effort to be, just play good position defense to avoid fouling as much as they do.
We have Illinois coming up too. We get them at home, so maybe I don't know if that's before or after you guys play them. So I think it's after, but they're another tough team. That it's a quad win one game, so if you can win that would really boost you in the tournament.
Yeah, for sure. Indiana plays Illinois on February 15th, and then Illini go on the road for their West Coast swing. So.
Okay. Yeah, and then you got Oregon coming up. They're decimated by injuries.
Yeah, they're
this year. Yeah, so that they've lost a couple big key players. So that we were able to handle them twice. So I think you should be able to win that game at home, especially.
Yeah, that's an opportunity. If you don't, then it's really time to start to get concerned for sure. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we end the season at Ohio State. You end the state at Ohio State. We end up at USC, which could be critical games right before the Big Ten tournament.
Absolutely. So.
Okay, Ken. I've kept you up to almost 1 a.m, so hang in there the rest of the show, and I'll talk to you soon.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Kevin.
All righty. Bye-bye.
Take care. 812-393-2600. Last call for callers. He told me he was going to call and make sure to get in case I wouldn't be sitting here talking to myself. And he came through. Kevin's a real one. Kevin's a real one. I like him. I so appreciate that. But Indiana, 81-75 losers against the Trojans of USC. Super odd. Continues to be odd to see these old, Pac-10, Pac-12 teams in the Big Ten. It is that challenge for them as well, for the other teams as well that are on the West Coast, constantly having to travel, constantly. It's not good for the teams, but they don't really care about that. This is all about cash, and it's all about football cash, first and foremost. So it is what it is. That's me just being crotchety. That's how it is. This team doesn't always play a brand of basketball that I like, but it can be effective, and it can be fun to watch. And like I said earlier, I really do think it is going to be attractive to other athletes that are going to make a difference. Some of them have already committed in the transfer portal. Obviously, Indiana is going to be very busy in that to add a big, add some shooters. There are moments when I think this is a nice start. The results aren't always what you want, but you could see what Darren DeVries is trying to do, and if you could find some balance, it would make a huge difference. Indiana didn't have that balance tonight, and they lose. Again, 15-8 overall, 6-6 in the Big Ten. Next opportunity comes against Wisconsin at Simon Scott Assembly Hall. Noon Saturday is the tip-off. Well, that's all the time we have on the Peegs Postgame Live. I want to thank you for listening, and I want to remind you to visit Peegs.com for the very best in IU football and basketball coverage you're going to find anywhere. Nobody covers Hoosier recruiting better than Jeff Rabjohns, Matt Weaver, Trevor Andershock, and Jared Kelly. So come be a part of a thriving, exciting community at Peegs.com. Folks, you are not going to be disappointed. Folks, we're out of time, but for now, and for Jeff, Matt, Trevor, and Jared, I'm Ken Bykoff saying thanks for listening, everybody.